Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Foxio98 here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2020 My Team career mode for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for the Japanese Grand Prix, and first things off is that engine upgrade, the major engine upgrade that we were scheduled to get for this race to finally put us not having the worst power unit on the grid. Oh, surprise, surprise, my freaking component failed again. What a shock, because quite frankly, in this entire career mode series, everything just fails on you upgrade-wise. But if you end up enjoying today's episode, feel free to drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and really get cracking with today's episode. So as you can see, we're just fast-forwarding some time and getting ready for the race weekend here at Suzuka, and pretty much having a look at all of our facilities, and I believe this is the stage now where I have decided that I'm just literally going to be investing all of my money now, and I will not be spending anything now, as I potentially look to maybe get a better driver at the end of the season, and also, of course, it means I can make some big facility upgrades and get everything to Spec 2 by the start of the next season, which is, of course, what we really want to be doing. But as you can see, we're just having a look at what we could do. Of course, the aerodynamics, we are the 5th fastest car on the grid. Chassis-wise, we're 4th from bottom, but we've got a major chassis upgrade on the way, and the power unit, we're obviously bottom of the pile. And of course, we are behind Scuderia AlphaTauri and also Alfa Romeo, which is a little bit of a pain for us. But heading over into to the laptop now. I believe I actually went ahead and just literally went back through the R&D again, because sometimes the R&D changes when you go from before the weekend to then going into the weekend. So when I did the R&D check, then obviously I clicked go into the weekend, and then sometimes it changes. But what I do is make my final upgrade of the season, and it is a major drag reduction upgrade, which will hopefully come before the Brazilian Grand Prix, and that's the last of my upgrades now for this season. The rest of the resource points will be invested to get everything on the car ready for the Australian Grand Prix next time around. So I am done now spending money on facilities and also resource points. Let's get straight into qualifying. And speaking of qualifying, didn't start off too well. Dunlop curb, and yeah, we unfortunately had a little bit of understeer on the exit there. Just got onto the initial phase was not too bad, getting onto the little runoff there, but we just didn't really hook it up properly, and then eventually went off for a little bit of a spin. Second lap though, I literally just cooled off the car and went back out and carried on for another lap, and at least just set myself a banker lap so I knew what I was working with. Also for this episode as well, all of the sponsors that we signed for last episode, I completely forgot to put them on the car, so all I've got is the Shark sponsor for this episode. Next episode, I put all the stuff back on, but as we now go into our final run here in qualifying, we found ourselves 0.3 of a second, which is not too bad as we come across towards the start-finish line now, gain a little bit of time on the exit then, crossing the start-finish line. Where is this going to put us? I'll tell you where it puts us, really far down the order. It's P19 on the grid. Japan last year for the AIs was one of the most broken circuits on the game. This year is no exception, really. They are really, really powerful. Either that or I've just got a really, really bad car. Probably the latter, but I don't know. But yeah, the pace was not there. Jack Aitken out-qualifies me comfortably by 0.3 of a second. So, yeah, car not working well, unfortunately, here in Suzuka. And that could only pay for some bad news, as Claire is now going to be quick onto me and is going to tell me how things didn't go so well today. Obviously, first things off, starting by saying that I wasn't as quick as my teammate. No shit, Sherlock. I can literally look at my qualifying board and see that. How will not making Q3 affect your strategy tomorrow? Well, if you've seen the title of this video by now, you'll understand why. Yeah, well, got a bit of work to do back at the factory. In terms of our rivalry versus Charles Leclerc, it was always going to be hard to beat the Ferrari. We start that off with being 2-1 down in this match. And in this match, what the hell? To be honest, mate, I've watched too much football at the moment. I've just finished watching Chelsea versus Manchester United in the FA Cup.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at the unique figure-of-8 Suzuka Circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with average speeds approaching 136 miles per hour. DRS will be available, of course, into the potential passing opportunity at turn 1, although the best place for overtaking will be through 130R and into the final chicane. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Ocon, Sainz, Bottas, and Daniel Kvyat. Gasly, Giovinazzi, Kimi Raikkonen, and Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Magnussen, Thomas, Lance Stroll, and George Russell. Latifi, Aitken, Norris, and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, so, football aside, because I spoke about that in last episode, because I was recording that episode in the middle of the match, and I'm recording this one after the match. Let's get straight into the action then. So we're going to be doing one-stop strategy, soft to hard compound tyres, damage limitation for this Grand Prix. It's not looking good, but 5 red lights then, and it's lights out. We'll go here to start the Japanese Grand Prix. It's a good start for Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. He gets away nicely as we get underway now. Literally right back, slap bang in the middle of all of the drama here as we try and go around the outside, forcing Kimi Raikkonen wide a little bit as we were trying to go 3 wide in the middle. Never really going to work out too well in our slightly plainer car this weekend as we now go through in towards the S section here, already losing the back end ever so slightly. A big mixture of unbalance in the car as we get oversteer and understeer. Trying to go around the outside of Giovinazzi doesn't work out. Ricciardo now trying to get involved in the act, but through the Dunlop curve we can force him wide, and we do so. He goes slightly off track there, and Raikkonen regains the place that he lost from Ricciardo when we forced him wide. Now in towards the first of the 2 Degners. Second Degner, we take a cheeky pop at Antonio Giovinazzi, and it comes off nicely for us as we now get up into another position. Now towards the hairpin here, the Kamui Kobayashi hairpin, or Kobayashi's corner, and we get past both the AlphaTauris in quick succession. It's a corner where on the first lap, especially when the cars are all trailed up together, you can really gain some places. Up into 10th place now in this Grand Prix. Of course, I believe we started a little bit higher up due to some grid penalties, unless I was mistaken. Can't remember where I started, but hey ho, it is what it is. Lap 2 of this Japanese Grand Prix. Sainz now 1 second clear. We get that chicane absolutely horribly done. And now, as you can see here, Gasly is all over the back of, so Kvyat is all over the back of us. Actually, you know, Gasly is still there as well, as they now try and press up onto the back of me here. And as they go through, a little bit of contact there between myself, Kvyat and Gasly there, all getting connected on the middle of the straight. Back end really came out then. I was literally about to go for a spin, had to lift off the throttle there, and losing out then to both the AlphaTauris. But as you can see, further on into lap 3, to be honest, losing out to those AlphaTauris didn't really make a single bit of a difference because the pace at the moment is absolutely dreadful. We've got nothing to really store for, and here comes Antonio Giovinazzi, and at this point, just breezes past me. Absolutely nothing I've got in my disposal to fight here today as he breezes past in a straight line. Raikkonen now trying to have a look into the chicane, but it's not going to work for him on that occasion. We will defend the position. In fact, he didn't really go for an attack here, but Giovinazzi, though, doesn't get the best exit from the chicane. And we're going to have a little look now at trying to get past Antonio here. We've got the slipstream, we've got the DRS. We're going to also go towards the outside line of the circuit here. Now towards the first corner, we can swoop around the outside, take a nice clean line through there, and that is Giovinazzi dispatched with, and we can move on now and potentially chase back down the AlphaTauris. But at this rate, that gap is 2 seconds. That's quite embarrassing. Lap 5 of the Grand Prix. You see those AlphaTauris I was saying about chasing down? Scratch that. 3.3 seconds, no chance. Going towards the hairpin now, Giovinazzi here, getting a nice little bit of a run as we lose the back end in towards the hairpin. Then I dropped it to first gear to try and get a bit more rotation in because that just wasn't working with the line that I was taking. But that didn't work. I got too heavy on the curb and lost the back end as we now go in towards Spoon, and we go a little bit wide on the exit then. Giovinazzi is going to say thank you very much and try and come back at us, and we do so then. Giovinazzi does get past Raikkonen, tries to go for a little bit of a pop, and Raikkonen spins around in the process, and he's crashed into the barriers, and he's going to be out of the Japanese Grand Prix. So Giovinazzi got past his fair and square. Raikkonen got really optimistic then. We were as far outside as we probably could have been there, and Raikkonen with a big mistake as we so nearly make a huge mistake. I actually have to cut the corner there to you know, just gain some time, I suppose, but at the end of the day, it's not as if it's going to make that much of a difference because Giovinazzi is blasting off into the distance And as you can see, Ricciardo is actually gaining on us now as we've got a yellow flag in the background. And someone's got off. It can't be Raikkonen because he was not. It's Aitken. It's my teammate that's out of the Grand Prix. Safety car has just come out. And Latifi is also out of this session. Let's have a look then. Oh, it looks like he's just lost it with the DRS then. And onto the pit straight now, and he gets a massive whack, and it's an airborne crash there for my teammate Aitken. A huge incident there then, as look at that. So he loses the back end thanks to the DRS being open, and then he's just going to get clattered by the Williams, and then he gets a second whack then from Magnussen, and it's a scary accident there actually. This is on board with Latifi now, so he breezes down onto the straight. There's nothing he could, well, he could actually have avoided that, but it's the AI programming coming at its finest, and there goes Aitken with a little bit of a flip. And it actually came here, so Aitken got a lot of air from the whack from Latifi, and then Magnussen came in and gave Aitken another hit, and it costed him dearly in that situation as the safety car has now been deployed. And I'm going to take the opportunity then to come into the pits and get off of these soft compound tyres and go straight onto the hard tyres. It does mean that the safety car normally tends to stay out for about 2 laps, so we should see the safety car come in at the end of lap 8, start of lap 9, or the start of the end of lap 9, start of lap 10. Which means that in terms of the race strategy, it's exactly pinpoint on when we actually needed to pit in the first place. So we come in for our set of hard tyres, and we're actually up into P12. So we've jumped a lot of cars here from the pit lane. So clearly some issues going on in the pit lane for a lot of the cars. For me though, not so much. We've actually gained places from the pit lane, and we're coming in now, or the safety car is going to be coming in then, and we can get back racing. We are the only car on the grid that has gone to the hard tyres, so we're doing something completely different to the rest of the field. And let's see if it pays off then as we get back racing once again. Then it's the Mercedes-Benz that leads the two Ferraris as we blast onwards now. Danny Kvyat is back behind us once again, so he's going to have to re-overtake us in this Grand Prix. He's on the soft tyres though, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem for him as we now go in towards the first corner for the 9th time in this Grand Prix. Has a little look through there, a little bit of contact I think, maybe to myself. I'm really getting in the wars in this Japanese Grand Prix as we now go towards the spoon curve, as we now blast onto the straight here, as Gasly now is finding a way through, and we've got another safety car then. So a second safety car now in this Grand Prix, as I go a little bit wide and a bit flustered by that, and nothing happened. Nobody has DNF'd from this Grand Prix. We are still on 18 runners, so why has the safety car come out again? I was really puzzled at the time. I went through the cameras and I didn't see anything. So I don't know why the safety car came out, but it did. But what's going to happen now, as you'll see, is that Lewis Hamilton is going to pit. The Alfa Romeo is going to pit, which does mean that those two are on the medium compound tyres. So we're now up into the point playing positions. We're now in P10 in this Grand Prix. And looking quite handy, actually. Even though our pace is poor, we'll just scratch all of that, because we're going to get back racing after 2 laps into the safety car. Again, don't know what for, but must have been some debris or something on track as we get back racing once again. As we can try and press onwards. Here we go then for some more action. Green light, it goes again. And green light, green flag, whatever you want to call it. Get your recovery truck out as we now blast down the straight here in towards the first corner. Now Gasly is going to see if he can try and do anything spectacular in the AlphaTauri. Nothing too much, but on this restart we actually did a better job here, and again the cars are going to bunch up into Kamui's corner, and we're going to go down the inside of Pierre Gasly. Lovely overtake there on the Frenchman, up into 9th place down this Grand Prix. Ocon next up the road as we're trying to get these hard tyres fired up and ready to crack on then in this Grand Prix, as we've got another safety car. What? Nobody's DNF'd again. The safety car has just come out in the exact same spot as we had it before. Right, okay. This is weird. Yeah, we have another safety car, which means that I now have to spend another 2 laps trundling behind the safety car. But there is one key thing about this safety car, which you're going to see right now, which is why the clip is carrying on. Because here comes the field. They're all going to stop. And what are they going to stop for? They're going to stop for either the medium tyres or the hard tyres. Who stopped for the hard tyres to start with? Me. And who now leads the field? Me. And as we're going to get back racing once again here, we're going to crack on then with this Grand Prix and get this green light back underway. Green flag racing once again. Lap 14, start lap 15. Lando Norris then is in second place. Lewis Hamilton back up into third now. Giovinazzi is in fourth place. Sergio Perez is in fifth. As we go in towards the first corner, Norris has a look at the inside line. I had to cover it off slightly just to make sure that he couldn't make his way through as we now blast onwards here with our car flying through now towards the S section. And yeah, just trying to maintain position here against Lando now. 0.2 of a second is that gap. He is, of course, on the medium compound tyres, but crucially, our hard tyres need to get fired up quickly. But we now lead the Japanese Grand Prix, and we're going to the end. So you better bet your bottom dollar that I am going to defend like no man's business. I do not care. You've seen already in this Grand Prix how much my elbows have been getting out with a little bit of contact and bumps and barges here and there. I will go to big lengths now because we are leading this Grand Prix with 13 laps to go. Let's see what we can do as we're now going towards Spoon Curve, or should we call it safety car corner? Because guess what? Hey, it's back again. Yeah, at this point, we now have we found a bug in the game, ladies and gentlemen. The safety car comes out once again. So guess what? 2 laps into the safety car. Lando Norris pits off those medium compound tyres. Big problem for him. We now get back racing once again. Hamilton is now our nearest challenger, which is absolutely fantastic. I really wanted a Mercedes-Benz at my backside as we now go in towards the first corner then. And you can see we're pressing onwards now, going down the inside here in towards the S section, or the start of the lap. And crucially here, already pulling out a little bit of an advantage over the Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi. I know it's only 0.7 of a second, but still, you mean that's 0.7 in a couple of corners. Crucially, we may be able to just have a little bit more pace compared to Giovinazzi. That gap is already a second as I'm blasting along. What's not 1 second gap, though, is the man that's right behind me. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton. What a shock. He's in a Mercedes-Benz. What do you expect? That thing is rapid as we go in towards the second Degner. Getting a little bit late on the brakes then. Hamilton might just fancy running towards the hairpin. Not close enough. I mean, if it was me, I would have gone for it straight down the inside, but the AIs are not programmed like that. So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. As we get through Kamui's corner now, and we're now going to go over down in towards safety car curve, and let's see if the safety car curve is going to cause what we all expect it to cause. Ready? Yeah. Oh look, it's back again. What a shock. Safety car what, number 6 now? Yeah. Nice to see you again, safety car. It's been a while. It's been like half a lap. Right, let's go back racing again, shall we? Right, lap 20 of the Grand Prix. Start lap 21. Oh, Jesus Christ. What was more tough about this Grand Prix is the fact that I recorded this race on the Saturday before the Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying. I had 25 minutes to finish this Grand Prix, and I was literally there on my phone, timing my lap times, being stuck behind the safety car, seeing if I would actually be able to watch qualifying. Luckily, I had about 25 minutes in hand, otherwise I would have missed qualifying because of this stupid recording. But, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's about 6 safety cars now in this Grand Prix. As we now blast onwards in towards the Degners, Giovinazzi already 1.1 seconds back, gaining away from him quite nicely. Personal best first sector. I mean, everyone's going to set a personal best first sector because, quite frankly, I don't think we've actually had a first sector which has been non-safety car related. As we now go in towards Kamui's corner, we now brake very early into the head, but actually got the braking point completely wrong for that corner. But as we now blast onto the exit here, let's see then as we now blast our way down in towards safety car curve. Let's see if we can actually try and get out through safety car curve unscathed. In other words, Bert Meilander, stop getting very, very horny, okay, and get on with it. And as you can see, Bert Meilander and the safety car has ran out of fuel. There is no more fuel left in that safety car, and we will continue to the end. And guess what? I was absolutely pooping my pants at this point because I just realised I was expecting a safety car to come out because it's only lap 21, and I was there laughing like, haha, I'm going to get to like lap 26 and then just do 2 laps for the freedom. No, now I'm actually going to have to defend for a good 8 laps against Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes-Benz around Suzuka. Fantastic. But as you can see, that's a brilliant exit off the last corner, and now it's all about managing my ERS to perfection. I've got to use it in 2 places. The exit of Spoon and the start-finish straight. And as you can see, here we go then. Deploying the ERS. Now we've got 60% of the battery. I felt like I was quite comfortable through there. Hamilton now getting a great run. He's actually got a fantastic slipstream through here. We have to deploy a tiny little bit more. 130R then, and Hamilton tries it around the outside. But we cover that one off very, very nicely there versus Lewis Hamilton. In towards the final chicane now, and that gap remains at 0.3 of a second. Crucially though, Giovinazzi is still in P3, so shout out my man as we now go on to the start-finish straight here. DRS has now been enabled. Lewis Hamilton is naturally nowhere near us at this point, so we can just happily get on with it. And also, we can use Rich Mixture for literally the entirety of the race because we've got like plus 3 laps of fuel. Because all I've been doing is racing under safety car conditions. That's widening towards Spoon, and very close then to contact between myself and Hamilton. We just about survived that action, and here comes Giovinazzi now to attack Lewis Hamilton. Go on, Gio, my son. And as I was watching this, hey, Giovinazzi, take some of my slipstream. Don't take Lewis's. You can have my slipstream. It might box you in a little bit, but yeah, have my slipstream. Now you can go for it in towards the chicane. I beg, Giovinazzi, please make this overtake stick. You will become a living god. No, he's not made it stick. Right, that's not gone to plan. I tried to use Giovinazzi as a buffer. You didn't do what I wanted you to do. Lap 26 of the Grand Prix now, and we're back at it again at Spoon, and we're going on to the exit now. Hamilton with a fantastic exit on there. We're going to use as much ERS as we possibly can. In fact, Hamilton not using ERS, and I saw that, turn my ERS off, go back to the middle of the circuit, defending nicely through towards Spoon curve now. Spoon, 130R should I say, now in towards the final chicane here. We've got one more lap to defend in this Japanese Grand Prix in what has been a bugfest hit of a thing so far as we now blast onto the start-finish straight here across the start-finish line. Hamilton not close enough though with that DRS, crucially using loads of my ERS now. We're down to less than 10%. I was saving up as much as I could for the final attack now as we go through in towards Spoon curve. Here we go then on the final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. Literally now just have to hold on through this final section and we should be okay. We've got 30% of ERS battery to use, so we should be alright now as we go in towards 130R for the 27th and final time. Hamilton is closing very much on us. We've got 8% of that battery left. Hamilton doesn't look like he's close enough to really go for it in towards the last chicane, but he's going to go for it, Lewis Hamilton. We're going to go towards the outside line. Hamilton makes contact with the rear of my car. He's gone spinning on the last lap of the Japanese Grand Prix. We cross the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix, and I didn't think Hamilton would go for it. It was such a late lunge from Lewis Hamilton, but he clipped the rear of my car. I saw it really late, and I tried to give him as much space as I possibly could. I took an outside line-ish overtaking defending maneuver into the final chicane, but Jesus, what a Grand Prix. What a race that was. Somehow, after starting all the way down the back of the grid, we have just won the Japanese Grand Prix. Antonio Giovinazzi has just finished second in this Grand Prix, and Sergio Perez has just finished third in that Grand Prix. That is, by far, the craziest Grand Prix I've ever raced in a career mode ever. And I genuinely mean that. And it just goes to show with the podium. I need to take a selfie. Hang on a second. Just look at the podium. The podium speaks volumes about this entire Grand Prix. I've just won the Grand Prix for Force Korea. Giovinazzi has just finished second for Alfa Romeo. And Perez has just finished third for Racing Point. That literally puts it all into perspective right there for you. What a race. Obviously, we had a major glitch with the safety. Look at the race result. It's myself, Giovinazzi, Perez, Vettel, Bottas, Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Hamilton. Obviously, Hamilton didn't score anything today because he did a desperate lunge for the win and it didn't pay off. Jack Aitken DNF'd obviously from the Grand Prix, which sucks. But yeah, so confused. I'm so confused on how that's just happened. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the second race win we've had now this season, which has been down to a bug of some sorts, because we saw the AIs were dreadful in Spain. That patch was fixed. Hey, Cody's, if you're watching this video, and I know that Cody's have watched some videos of mine, we have another bug on our hands. Safety car glitch. We need to fix that one. I definitely shouldn't have got the win today, and I definitely shouldn't really have scored any points, to be honest, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to take advantage of something that's not my own fault. It's not my fault that the game is bugged like that, and we'll carry on with it. Formula 1's all about dodgems. Nah, it's not about dodgems. It's all about the skill. And as you can see, she's clearly kind of pissed that I didn't answer her questions. Quite frankly, don't care. But yeah, I can't get my head around that Grand Prix. I mean, we had a decent start. We got involved in a bit of a tangle with the two Alpha Tauris. Giovinazzi breezed past us. We got back past Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi then got back past us again thanks to a mistake. Raikkonen went for a desperate lunge on ourselves. He spun the car around. He DNF'd from the Grand Prix. Jack Aitken went to the moon and back. He thought that he was the nuclear missile that North Korea was going to send, but clearly he wasn't. The safety car came out. pit stops everywhere, about 800 more safety cars. Bad news on the financial front, though. We didn't get the 100 laps for a weekend, and we didn't get a Q3 appearance. Not too good. Cash-wise, 60,000. Still, 4.74 mil. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, like I said, about 6 odd safety cars. And we defended against Lewis Hamilton for gods on end. He makes a desperate lunge down the inside. I didn't see it coming, and then I tried to avoid it. I was too late to avoid the desperate lunge, and he went spinning around, and somehow it ends up with myself, Giovinazzi, and Perez on the podium. I don't have any words to describe that Grand Prix. I did not have the pace. It is as simple as that. But yeah, what a race! Wow. As you can see, though, we've got 2 major upgrades that have now gone onto the car. That's the engine upgrade, which has now been put onto the car, putting us right back into the middle of the pack for that front. And then we also got a major upgrade to the chassis onto the car for the weight redistribution, which you can see there for the monocoque system, which is lovely. That puts us slap bang in the middle. On that front, we are pretty much now slap bang in the middle for R and D, which is beautiful. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you guys seriously have enjoyed it, drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're around here as well. I can't... Yeah, I actually had to take a break after that episode. What I am going to do, though, quickly, is I'm going to go ahead and put the sponsors onto the car after I forgot to do it, because, of course, everything renewed itself. So we're going to go ahead and put on Sudo onto this point at the top of the engine cover. Over on the front side, we're going to go and put satellites on there, just like that. And then sponsor slot number 4 on the rear wing, we're going to chuck AF on the rear wing. And then onto spot number 5, we're going to go ahead and re-put Sudo on there. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.